I didn't know what multi-camera directing was, really, until one day I stepped into a TV truck in BBC Northern Ireland, and there's a gentleman called Colin Lewis directing a show called The Show. Live music, live chat, amazing. And he was literally in full flow, very talented director, and I was like, oh my God, that is cool. For me, multi-camera directing is kind of an alchemy of many, many different things, and one of the most important parts of the process is actually being able to walk into a venue, into a room where you are wanting to stage something and look at that room in a different manner. I think that sometimes, multi-camera directing is about having a vision, and having a really big idea and then selling that idea to network, to talent, to brand, or to whoever it is, The one night only thing we did with Robbie Williams in the Albert Hall, when the idea came to me, it was Robbie in Fountain Studios at Wembley. And I listened to the idea and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a shocker. And this is like karaoke Rob. I mean, why do you want to put Robbie Williams in a small TV studio up in Wembley and try and launch a swing album? I'm like, this doesn't compute. What we need to do is we need to put Robbie in the best venue in London, something that has kind of character and heritage, and amp this up to create a really special evening. And so we walked into the Albert Hall, which is a Victorian music hall, and I was like, okay, so what we can do here is, I want to create the inside of a Las Vegas pinball machine. So in between each of the boxes, we should put a kind of fluorescent light strip, and then have this huge RW light bulb structure in front of the organ, and everybody should come in black tie, and then the event becomes amazing. And when Robbie steps out on that stage, or he dropped down a fireman's pole out of the R, he's confronted with this incredible spectacle, and it's moments like that I'm like, oh, yeah. And was I calling every shot on the night? No, I wasn't. But you know what? I'd had a pretty big impact on the development of that idea. Technology is interesting in that I am a bit of a geek. I'm definitely a bit techie. And I certainly went through a phase where, every new piece of kit that came out, I would, got to use that. But actually, a few times I looked at myself and I thought, well, why am I using this? What am I using it for? And I think multi-camera can be quite tech heavy. And actually what you've got to do is you've got to kind of liberate yourself from the technology in some way. And I think you have to understand what it can do for you, but actually you can sometimes actually get a bit constrained by it. I used to see all this stuff come out and go, oh, I've got to use it. Now I keep myself abreast of things and I'm like, okay, how can I use that to tell a story better? Or how does that change the processes that unfortunately are a large part of the multi-camera world? I mean, I've used lots of technology in the past in a very bad way, do you know what I mean? And I've become a bit obsessed by it and kind of like, without actually thinking of its repercussions. But now I use a lot of new techniques that are born out of new technology, and from that new technology become new processes and new workflows, and that absolutely changes the way that you interact with the event that you are filming or staging. My talent is definitely remaining calm, remaining polite, and in extremely stressful situations, making other people smile, motivating people on a human level, and just providing a safe environment in which they can excel. And you know what, I can take on a lot of the crap and a lot of the stress, and if I can take it and I'm holding it in within myself, it's not permeating out to them. Now there's sometimes where that's just not possible, but I do try and keep it jolly, because actually, you know what, people make better decisions when they're smiling. I made it my mission to change the way that London filmed the opening ceremony, and it became my kind of absolute, all-consuming passion. And I went to various interested parties, and the incumbents who were going to be filming the ceremony didn't see it the way that I wanted to do it, and I was very passionate about it. And I remember going to a meeting And by the way, there were many people at London 2012 who also didn't see it the way I saw it. And I remember going to a meeting. Lord Seb Coe was there, a lot of other people were there, and I took with me a copy of Trainspotting, some of my son's Lego, and some previous Olympic ceremonies. And I said, okay guys, so we've all seen the pre-visualization that Danny has created, which was incredible, by the way. We love that. I say to you that this is a Danny Boyle movie. And actually what we're making is not a Danny Boyle movie, we're making a Danny Boyle theatre show. And then we're taking that Danny Boyle theatre show and we're giving it to a team of people who will come in very close to the finishing of that theatre show and saying, okay, film it. We have no control over that process. We have no real input into that process. And they're like, yeah, well, I don't see the problem here, guys. So I put on a copy of Trainspotting and I played the scene where, you know, Ewan McGregor's kind of injecting himself with heroin and he kind of falls back. And I'm like, okay, guys, so this is Trainspotting, you know, conceived and directed by Danny Boyle. And I pose you this question. Trainspotting, in the hands of any director other than Danny Boyle, would not be Trainspotting. And then I played, you know, clips from previous opening ceremonies. And I said, okay, Trainspotting as a script, as a screenplay, in the hands of the people who would film these previous opening ceremonies, is that going to be Trainspotting? And they're like, well, no. And I think everybody kind of was like, okay, the penny's starting to drop here. And I basically explained that, you know, in the present process you had Danny Boyle and the theatre on one side, you had this wall, as depicted by my son's Lego, and on the other hand you had a team of people who would come very last minute to the party and kind of get what they could from this kind of concept. And I said to everybody, look, if you want this previs to be, you know, if you want this Danny Boyle movie to be on our TV screens in July 2012, you need to let Danny make his movie. Don't say make a theatre piece and then leave it to chance to have it kind of filmed and translated for television by a team that isn't Danny Boyle. He's got an Oscar, by the way. Get him to direct the movie and you're going to get that movie. And they were like, they got it actually after that. You're working with an artist called Madonna who's got incredibly strong ideas, but you also have the team from Cirque du Soleil who also have an incredibly strong set of ideas. Then you've got the Moment Factory who are content creators and show creators in their own right in Canada. Then you've got Rich and Tone who are the most amazing choreographers. You've got Al Gurdon who's easily the best lighting director in the world, and all of them have got these sub-narratives within this kind of major narrative. And as the director, I'm like, I mean, this could really just turn in on itself. So what we did, talking about new technology, is I, for the first time, picked up one of these little 5Ds, and in rehearsal, I literally shot the Madonna show from every single possible angle that I could conceive. I literally hung out of the grid, I got underneath the stage, I was in front of her, I was a Steadicam on the stage. We took it into a Final Cut Pro suite and literally edited all those angles together. We got some of the projection material from Moment Factory by literally they created a cardboard model and projected of the stage and projected down onto it. So we literally, what we did was we kind of created this shot perfect edit of what the show would look like before she'd even stepped on the stage in Indianapolis. We gave it to her and said, right, okay, this is what I think. And you know, her, Michelle, Sachin, Al, the costume team, Rich and Tone, the choreographers, everybody kind of sat around, and it was an incredibly interesting process because all of a sudden they started to see the movie, the TV show, as a TV show and as a combined narrative. And actually, I can't remember. There were a number of times where actually I'd taken a shot that wasn't specified by any of the 10 people in the room, but as part of the jigsaw puzzle, it worked. And you know, we didn't get it right by any means. We probably 80% right, but you know, we could have this incredibly constructive dialogue with Madonna, with her team, where they said, you know what, ooh, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to change this. And that's an illustration of, you know, us using new technology, kind of thinking very, very differently. And communicating with people in such a way that we were actively making a very real difference to something that hadn't even happened yet.